How do you get ChatGPT to write like you? My secret is to use the ChatGPT Sidebar Plugin, which adds a button right here to upload large quantities of text. And I would tell it to read through your blog posts, read through your book, and to get 25 elements or 25 sort of features about you and your writing, and then use that block of text whenever you want ChatGPT to generate writing that looks like you. And what I've also done is I've also taken the Myers-Briggs test. You know how there's this 4-letter label that says, are you like an INFJ or an INTP or an ENFP? You've heard of these acronyms, right? You go online and you search for a Myers-Briggs test. You figure out your personality type. And I've also paid, I think it was about $90 to generate a KOLBE score, which is another personality test. So my own personal secret is I upload my own writing to ChatGPT and I ask it to generate 25 elements or features about my writing, and then when I reuse that along with my Myers-Briggs score and my KOLBE score, and then I give it the text that I want it to write. That way it looks like and sounds like me. So let's do this. This is ChatGPT, and we create a new chat window, and then we've installed the ChatGPT Sidebar Plugin for Chrome, which allows us to upload whole documents and books. We're not limited by the length. I can click on this, and I can browse to one of my books. Actually, I should try it on some of my older books. So I'm uploading this Word document that is one of my books, and the reason why we use this plugin here is because in this case there are, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to export this as text because I think because the Word document has so many extra sort of characters and features. Here's what I'm going to do to save some time, okay? We take the book that we've written, right? Here's my Word document, here's my book. I will save this to my desktop as a text file. That way there'll just be way less mess. So we save this as a text file first. Okay, that's a text file. And then let's just try again, right? We'll try with a new chat. We'll upload the text file version of our book. We'll see if that's okay. So now there's only 13 parts. Now we don't have to wait all day for all the pieces. And so this plugin, we kind of just let it sit and let it do its thing, and it's uploading in various chunks just our entire book. And you could potentially be uploading blog posts or transcripts of your YouTube videos, etc. I just think it's really important that you give it just mountains of text that are written by you, not just a little bit, but tons of text written by you. That way it can really deeply analyze it. And here we go. Now we've uploaded all 13 parts of this. And then I'll also give you the prompt for this in the description. And here's what I tell it. I say, describe my writing style based on the above transcript. List me 25 key phrases describing the style of writing so I can reuse the same style in future writing. And I always tell it to give it comma separated, but instead it gives me a list, and that's okay. Structured and formulaic approach, focus on actionable content. And we let it just generate this, and then we will use this in the future whenever we want to create writing that's similar to us. So we take all this, and maybe I can even say, can you give me the list in comma separated format, for example, item 1, item 2, item 3, and so on. Maybe it can even format it, but if not, it's not the end of the world. Aha, here we go. We just had to ask nicely. So it's important to have this in comma separated. That way it's easier to manage, easier just to dump in. Okay. Call to action oriented. And so the way that I'm using this is I'll give you this other prompt, and it's just this big bunch of text, but I'll explain it. So we'll take all this, and we'll save it over in a notepad in the other window. And then we'll create a new chat window. And this is important too, to have a chat window that's free and fresh and has no baggage and is not referencing that book itself that we uploaded, right? Because we uploaded that book in order to capture our writing style, not necessarily capture the information. So if we keep on generating new answers in that old chat window, it might look back at our old book. We don't want that. We want to write in our style. So just to take this for a spin, what I can say is use this writing style, and we'll paste in that big list that we will keep around forever. And then also me personally, I am a Myers-Briggs INTJT and a KOLBE 5473. And then I will say to write me an interesting article about podcasting. And I'm curious what comes just from that. We give it a lot about our personality. Oh, geez. I don't like, and we can edit this. I don't like that it references the personality, but let's see what else it gives us. So here's the output, which is okay, right? Like, I can work with this. This is not perfect, but I can definitely build out some pieces of these. And why are we not happy with this? It's because we didn't really give it a lot of information, right? And so here's where we can give it a ton, where I'll create a new chat window, and I actually have a whole list, right? And let me show you this whole list right here, right? Over time, I've refined this prompt to first have this writing style, and I say, write a 500-word blog post with a series of rules. Keep away the metaphors, because sometimes ChatGPT gets crazy with the metaphors, and you can tell it's AI generated. And adding this doesn't remove it completely, but it helps a lot. Begin with an attention getter. Keep the Flesch-Kincaid score around 60. That way it's like simpler language. Keep the audience entertained. Use the Robert Cialdini weapons of influence, liking and social proof, reciprocity. Summarize the best points. And with a bang, a call to action. And so that's the first step to it, is to give it a list of rules to basically shape things to be an interesting beginning, middle, and an end. And then one also add-on I've recently had here was I say, after dumping this out, ask me 5 multiple choice questions one at a time, waiting for my response. And I say, give me 5 choices for a better opening line, a better ending sentence, what to focus on more, what to focus on less, and then styling and wording. So we combine this with also uploading a huge bunch of text. So we used my book earlier to train the AI as far as the writing style, but then now as far as the content, like the input content, what I'm going to do here is I have a podcast with over 1,000 episodes, and as part of what we have is we have many transcripts of the episodes, right? So I have this transcripts folder, and what I can do is find one of these, and maybe I will transcribe the Scott McCrite transcript. So I'll upload it using the same ChatGPT Sidebar Plugin. This is an interview that me and Scott did a few months ago, and it is uploading in 5 parts. And so now all the pieces are about to come together, right? Number 1, the uploading of this whole transcript, this whole big bunch of text, and then give us a 500-word summary, because I think that it's easier and better to have a lot and then end with a little versus only give it one sentence and it has to make many thousands of guesses. So we give it this whole huge transcript, and then we paste in this whole prompt that included what now? It included the training based on our own personalized writing that we uploaded, and then this list of all these various writing rules. And then, even after that, it will ask us a series of multiple choice questions to really refine things and make it what we want. And once that all comes back, then we can probably even go like sentence by sentence or paragraph by paragraph and really juice it up and really humanize it. But you can see even just the difference here, right? Even just as you're seeing the text scroll by, that original ask I made of ChatGPT where I said just write about podcasting. It gave me a few like little lists and it wasn't very detailed, but here it's like asking questions, it's getting emotional, it's even the sentences seem simpler, right? Like the key, never stop learning and challenging yourself. Let's break these down into actionable insights. Let's end on a note of action. Okay, and I've only looked at it really quickly. Language matters, and if I were really sitting down and really wanted to make this good, I would let it speak out the text to me. But instead, we'll just read this. So give me 5 choices for a better opening line. Ever been knocked down? Remember a time? Has anyone told you something was impossible? How would you react when can't becomes the fuel for can? I like, has anyone told you something was impossible? So I combine A and C. Okay. Give me 5 choices for a better ending sentence. What's your impossible challenge? What's one impossible you're ready to turn into I'm possible? That's cute. Challenge yourself. What's your next impossible victory? I like the impossible victory. Let's go with that. Give me 5 choices for what to focus on more. Detailed examples, psychological aspects, specific. I like specific strategies. Specific strategies. Not sure why it's giving us the questions twice. Give me choices of what to focus on less. And we'll say, let's focus less on B, C, and E. Any styling or wording. Should I include more direct quotes? Technical language, call to action. I like the specific call to action at the end. Whoops. We were playing with this too much, so now it's downgrading us to the worst ChatGPT, but you can still get the idea. So now it's downgraded us to ChatGPT 3.5 because we used all of it. Take that first step today. Okay, so that I think ends up giving us a nice blend between having all the information and being just long enough and just short enough, and having kind of the fun and the simple language by using these 3 techniques, right? Technique number 1, upload our writing to train the AI. Technique number 2, have a list of rules. That way the writing kind of follows the best practices of writing, like adding in a fun story in there and adding in some suspense and some emotion and a powerful beginning and ending and lists in the middle, and then having the multiple choice at the end just to further refine what we had. And so that is my secret to using ChatGPT to write a blog post that you probably should do a quick 10-minute pass on, just to really take away all, if there's any sentences in particular that don't make sense or you don't like how they're worded or they're cliches or something. But I think that by doing it this way, when it comes time for you to edit, you will find sentences to remove and not necessarily sentences to add, because that's the worst kind of editing, right? When you have to add more content. If you rearrange or delete, that's easier, that's better, that gives you more momentum. But to have to add, that kills your buzz. And that is my technique. That's my process for using ChatGPT to write as you. I'll add the prompts to this in the show notes. That way you can just copy and paste for your own usage. So use ChatGPT plus the ChatGPT Sidebar Plugin. That way you can upload books and transcripts and get the output that you want by having a better strategy than just throwing a question at it. You do this sort of multi-step process. Robert Plank showing you some ChatGPT, and my website is dfypodcast.com.